So I think an incredibly difficult thing to do is to put yourself in an uncomfortable position when it comes to drawing. So what I have to say to that is that you need to do it. It's something you kind of have to force yourself to do, and it's also something that you need to be aware of. And the thing is, it does get easier over time because the more tools you learn how to draw, the more you could learn when to apply it when you need to. It's kind of like much like a plumber understands the tools that they need to use when they go into a job to fix whatever they need to, whether it be a toilet, a sink, a shower head, or if they need to cut a pipe. They know the tools that they need to use. Like, you can't use a hammer for every type of thing you may run into, because sometimes you may just need to use a wrench to fix a leaky faucet. A hammer's not gonna do the job. So what I recommend is you structure a plan for yourself to understand what you want to draw, where you should be improving, whether that be fundamentals like perspective, proportion, light and shade, composition. This order is not of importance, by the way. I would say construction and gesture. But the thing is, you always want to be challenging yourself whenever you go sit down to draw, whether you're drawing from real life, which is probably extremely beneficial, or if you do choose to draw from images. I think there is a place for both, but just be aware that you may have to learn to see differently when you're actually learning to draw from real life. So a book that I've been reading recently, Perspective Made Easy by Ernest Norling. There are a lot of books out there that if you look around, they're old enough and they kind of fall into public domain. So just by doing an internet search to try to find that, you could pretty much in a free way expand your drawing plans. You could also, find stuff on YouTube. You could, the whole thing is you just want to draw from a bunch of different things, and you always want to be challenging yourself every day. I also recommend you draw what you like to do, or what you want to do, but also fit that in with the stuff that you're not good at drawing yet, because it is extremely integral to the whole. And the thing is, if you draw nothing but bugs, for instance, you may want to make sure you're challenging yourself with more complex bugs. You don't want to draw the same exact bug over and over and over again from the same image, but if you draw from different perspectives of that bug, that could be extremely beneficial to understanding how things twist and turn in 3D space, and you are challenging yourself, and it is going to greatly help you do that. The other thing is splitting your session into 25-minute chunks and taking a 5-minute break, and repeat for a couple times, also known as the Pomodoro technique. It's greatly beneficial to do that. The other thing is, some people recommend you draw all types of things. The reason why people do that is because they all offer different ways of looking at something before you actually draw it. And by doing that, it helps you grasp not everything, but a lot of things, so you could understand where to go and how to really handle tackling things you never have drawn before. Because more often than not, when you sit down to draw something, it's probably going to be something you never have drawn before, and you may be frozen at the idea of, how the heck do I even draw this thing I never have drawn before when I don't have experience doing it? And it's kind of like a bit of reverse engineering. I've always thought of it kind of like that, and it's actually kind of fun because it always offers a new challenge to learn something and to try to break it down. This is a terrible tomato, by the way. I am not drawing from a reference. Always looking at, I would say when you're also starting out, drawing from by actually looking at reference, extremely important. I would also call that a bullet point. but don't get comfortable. Like, if you are comfortable drawing boxes, if you're uncomfortable and you eventually get comfortable drawing boxes, then I think at that point it's either time to move on to drawing boxes from a different perspective or drawing something else and trying to challenge yourself, because you really need to challenge yourself to get good. It's just how we grow. Like, if you ever learned in math, like, you learn algebra, eventually at some point you learn the basics and you eventually need to move on to geometry or trig. It's one of those things that just kind of, it builds on it, and it's important to be challenging yourself so you don't remain stagnant. If you ever do feel like you're stagnant, perhaps you need to maybe pick up a new book or a new course, or find some video on YouTube, or draw something from real life. The other thing is, if you ever do get stuck, no, trying to go to someone else to ask for help is definitely a viable option. I wouldn't do it for everything. The main idea is to become independent with drawing whatever you need to on your own. The other thing is, people may charge you, but it very well may be worth it for you in the end. In the past, I definitely paid for feedback and critiques, and I found it definitely worthwhile to spot out my mistakes. I would say that's another bullet point: learning to spot your mistakes. That's another big important thing. It's kind of like teaching someone to fish, so they could fish on their own. It's one of those, that's really what I would say is extremely important, because it's one thing to have a teacher, but to become your own teacher, well, that's that's amazing. I mean, eventually, maybe you could even get to the point, not that you will, you could get to the point in which you could help others. I mean, how cool is that? That's actually a big thing that I try to do with all of my YouTube videos. It's something that I'm very aware of. It's something that, like, I do because I want to give back in many different ways. And what's better than teaching? So, yeah, always challenge yourself. If you get comfortable, know when you're getting comfortable so you can get uncomfortable. And, whether that be a course, there's a ton of online information you could probably find and look at. I've always thought about making a resource page on my website for, like, free material that I would recommend to people, but I'm always a bit scared of doing that. I just want people to honestly know that, like, I actually tried the material at least once, but a lot of the stuff I've tried was actually not free. I'm not saying everything has to be free. I mean, of course, supporting other teachers is important, but people starting out, it could be very difficult to just know where to begin. So that's why I had the idea of a resource page, but I have not made it yet. If I ever would, like, I don't even know what I would put on it. I would hate to even be the authority on that, because I've seen other people on the internet become authorities on that, then they kind of, like, turned it into an emailing list, and I'm like, you can't even get it unless they have your email, and it's just like, I don't know, it's just like, I don't mean to insult them in any way, I'm not even gonna say the name, but the other thing is, whether that person actually tried everything that they listed. That's always like a scary thing. The other thing is, I probably lack a bit of rendering and drawing experience, so the other thing is, how could I even be a trusted source in my field when I'm still in the, I would say I'm still in a larva stage, not even a pupa stage yet. But yeah, the other thing, I didn't mention, drawing through your forms. That kind of falls within the range of construction, but I do, this box is really bad, by the way, but it's incredibly important to draw through your forms so you have understanding of 3D space, because it's all interrelated. That's really related to, like, composition, understanding how things sit in 3D space. I could delve into that topic more, but I probably lack a lot of experience in that, and I probably wouldn't be too helpful yet. Maybe in the future. Not right now, but in the future. But yeah, it's kind of like all these things build upon them. And yeah, I knew this box was going to be messed up. I wasn't thinking it through enough. But yeah, just know, always challenge yourself and try to do your best. And if you make a mistake, understand that you're going to make them and try to fix it yourself. And if you can't, you could always try to reach out to help to someone else to try to get feedback and try to figure out where you're going wrong. But yeah, thanks for listening. If you have a question, please leave it in the comments. If you like the video, please like it. And if you like my channel, please subscribe. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Bye.